everyone, welcome back. My name is Manya and I've lost 31 pounds on the WW Purple Plan. Now I've been at it for 11 months and prior to this I'd lost about 20 pounds maybe 15 years ago and kept it off. So I think I'm no expert, but I can give you what has worked for me and what I know will work for you. So I don't have 10 tips today. I probably should have come up with 10, but I came up with 9. So these are my top 9 picks for being successful on the WW plan. Don't eyeball your food. I've talked about this before, but you're not as good at eyeballing portions as you think you are. I can almost guarantee it. And this goes for some long-termers on WW. It's very easy to get away from weighing and measuring once you've been doing it for a while. But I'll put a graphic up on the screen that shows you the difference between a scant teaspoon, a teaspoon, and a rounded teaspoon. And I can tell you that when I stop paying attention, I end up with the rounded, especially when it comes to things that I think are delicious, like sugar. It's very easy to justify a rounded teaspoon while it's all still fitting in the spoon. So that's a teaspoon, right? Think of it this way. If you're weighing and you're measuring it, it's probably because you need to portion control it, most likely for points because you're on WW. If you're not portion controlling properly, you're most likely eating more than you are counting in your tracker. Put in your tracker everything that you put in your mouth. Now, as a WW Purple proponent, I eat a lot of 0-point foods, and I don't believe in tracking quantity or measuring or weighing 0-point food. That's just a personal thing, and it is working for me. I don't limit how many potatoes I eat, but I do put that I ate potatoes in my tracker because that keeps me accountable. I don't need to be kept accountable for the potatoes. I need to be kept accountable for the time that my husband bakes sourdough banana nut muffins and gives me a bite. If I'm already in the groove of putting everything that goes into my mouth in my tracker, it's a lot easier to remember to do that. Now, a lot of y'all are gonna ignore me when I say this, but I implore you, don't set a time-based goal. I know you want to get skinny for your wedding, your anniversary, your high school reunion, summer in your bikini. I know all those impulses are there. And while on the one hand, they can help drive someone forward, right? They can keep someone focused because you have that goal. In my experience, all they do is set you up for future failure. Because you hit that goal and the reason that you wanted to get thin in the first place has arrived, you went to that gala and it's over now, so why bother continuing on WW? Or what I also see happen is people have unrealistic expectations about how quickly they're going to lose, and they've set themselves up for failure because they were going to lose 50 pounds in 3 months. And you and I both know that if you're doing it healthy and you're doing it right, you're not losing 50 pounds in 3 months unless you're a very special person. Why the hell are you doing this? If you're doing it for, I'll go back to the other tip, your high school reunion, you have no motivation to keep going and to keep the weight off. Figure out what your why is. For me, my why is for long-term health in the second half of my life. You have got to learn your triggers and you have to have a plan for them. Now, I'm going to link below a video I made on finding your willpower. You have to find it. Not everyone, and I know this because I see you. I see you on Facebook and other social media. I know that your husband or your wife and your kids are not following WW, and that makes it really hard, especially if your trigger is Lay's potato chips and they love Lay's potato chips and so they insist on having them in the house. You got to figure it out. So finding your willpower is one way. If you can, get everything like that out of your life as much as you can. You have to figure out what triggers you, because I too often see people posting things like, I'm great during the day and then I go home and I can't stop myself. You can stop yourself. I don't believe it. You've decided not to stop yourself. Everyone has this fortitude inside of them. If you have a goal and you've found your why, but why make it hard on yourself? Why have those trigger foods around you? Figure out how to deal with them so that you can continue to be successful. I'm a big proponent of ingredient prepping. If you follow me on Instagram, and if you're not, you should, you will know that I don't meal prep. I get overwhelmed by recipes and cookbooks. When I see a cookbook or a recipe and it's just 40 ingredients, my eyes start to swim, my head starts to ache, and that's when I go out and get burritos for dinner. What has saved me is ingredient prepping. So on the weekends, when I get my groceries for the week, and lately my husband, which has been lovely, we cut up all the vegetables, and many of them we cook. Usually just steaming. So in my fridge right now, I have cut up kale and rainbow chard. He cut that up into bite-sized pieces. We put them in plastic bags, put them back in the fridge. And then I steamed broccoli, green beans. I made potatoes ahead. I have corn. I just have lots. I'll insert a picture. I have lots and lots of raw and cooked food ready to go, so that all I have to do on a Tuesday night is pull out some brown rice, put some veggies on top, some tofu or some potatoes, heat it up, and there's my grain bowl. To add on to that, the next tip is to not worry about recipes and to eat simply. I kind of said that in the last tip, but I didn't call it out, so let me call it out here. You do not need to overcomplicate your weight loss journey. In fact, in my experience, when I pare it down, I'm more successful. So I'm a vegetarian, pretty much vegan most of the time, but this is a no judgment channel. So if you eat meat, that's totally fine. Meat doesn't need to complicate things. So for example, I have pictures up now, hopefully. Look at some of these plates. It's potatoes on one side of the plate and some greens on the other. You can throw some salsa on there. You can weigh out some ketchup if you want. That's entirely up to you. Imagine that a third of that plate, instead of being potato, was chicken breast. What is wrong with a meal like that? I feel like we have been conditioned to think that every meal has to be the most amazing thing we've ever eaten. And I'm going to say we, especially women, put all sorts of pressure on ourselves to make incredible meals for our families. But I think we've lost sight of what an incredible meal is. And when you keep it simple, it's not only much cheaper, it's unprocessed, so it's closer to the source of food, and it's delicious. Simplicity tastes so good to me now, and I don't have to worry about cooking all of these recipes. I just cook food. This one's a tough one, and it can take some time. You've got to learn what hunger and satiety actually feel like in your body. It's another thing we've been conditioned on, is to just eat all the time, right? So many of us don't know what hunger feels like. And then because we're so used to processed foods, which trigger off all these feelings in our brain, we never want to stop eating, and then we eat far past the point of being satisfied. What WW does for us that is so beautiful is it forces you to stop doing that because you have to track everything that goes in your mouth. If you can learn how to stop when you're not hungry anymore, you don't need to measure and weigh 0-point foods. Like I said, it'll take some time. And you know that it takes about 10 minutes to feel full. So there's nothing wrong with eating a bit and then stopping and waiting to see if you're full. And the last tip is to be a sponge, and many of you are really, really good at this. You inhale these YouTube videos, you're on Facebook and Instagram, and you love all the beautiful plates and all the tips and the recipes. You love all that stuff. But you don't always figure out what works for you and your body. So you're constantly asking other people for advice when you can figure it out for your own body. It might take a little time. Just like understanding when you've eaten enough food, you might have to experiment a little bit, which can be frustrating because it may slow down your weight loss or it may speed it up. Just because some YouTuber points out that it's only 1 point for the entire thing and you pour it in your coffee and it tastes like a latte, if it makes you feel like crap, don't eat it. Figure out what works for you. I have people who say to me, I can't believe you eat all the potatoes and brown rice that you want and you still lose weight. Well, the proof is in the pudding. It's working for me, and I promise you, when this camera is off, I am eating exactly the same way. You've got to figure out how this is your journey. It's always good to see you all, my friends, and we are on this journey together. Bye.